The fate of Red Bull's second F1 seat has been decided, with Sergio Perez set to partner Max Verstappen for another 2 years at the Milton Keynes-based squad. It's a decision that has split opinions in the F1 world. Some fans are happy to see him rewarded for his hard work at the team. Others question why he's been kept on when he's prone to weekends like he had at Imola and Monaco. 4 people who are definitely upset by the decision are the current and former Red Bull drivers who thought they were in with a shot at that seat. Today, I'll check out Checo's new Red Bull contract and talk about why it's completely screwed Daniel Ricciardo, Yuki Tsunoda, Liam Lawson and Carlos Sainz. So, don't go anywhere. Let's start with the big news, which is Sergio Perez's new contract with Red Bull Racing. The Mexican driver has signed a new 2-year contract to stay at Red Bull in Formula 1 until the end of 2026. The world champions have decided to stick with the Mexican, who joined the team in 2021, rather than switch him for Carlos Sainz, who's available following Lewis Hamilton's decision to move to Ferrari from 2025, or promote any of their current Red Bull juniors or VCARB drivers. A potentially catastrophic decision that we'll get to in a minute. Team principal Christian Horner said, "Continuity and stability are important for the team, and both Checo and Max Verstappen are a successful and robust partnership." Alpine has shown just how bad a lack of continuity and stability can be for an F1 team, but the decision to keep Checo on for 2 more years has been heavily questioned. Horner's decision comes despite a dip in form for Perez in the past 3 races in Miami, Imola and Monaco, where he finished 4th, 8th and crashed out on the first lap after qualifying 16th. Horner said, "The past few races have been tough. There is a convergence on the grid. But we're confident in Checo and look forward to his return to proven form and performance that we so often see." Checo had a very similar dip in form last year, which had people calling for him to be replaced by Daniel Ricciardo, but eventually turned it around, finishing 2nd in the Drivers' Championship, which is all that can really be expected of him. Regarding the new contract, Perez said, "I'm delighted to be staying here to continue our journey together. Being part of the team is an immense challenge and what I love. We have a great challenge this year, and I have full trust in the whole team that the future is bright here, and I'm excited to be a part of it." Despite those questionable recent performances, Checo has managed to secure the most attractive seat on the grid at the moment. Verstappen has been proving for the past 2 years that Red Bull have the best car on the grid by a comfortable margin, but things are changing. Max won 3 of the first 4 races of this season and took pole position at the first 7 Grand Prix. But the Dutchman, who produced the most dominant season in F1 history in 2023, has won only once in the past 3 races, as Red Bull have faced renewed challenge from McLaren and Ferrari. Perez has not won a race since the Azerbaijan Grand Prix in April 2023, despite Red Bull winning all but 1 race last season. Since that win, he's only secured 6 second places as well, proving that it isn't just Verstappen's dominance that is stopping him from securing more. The performance difference between the 2 Red Bull drivers has its benefits and its drawbacks. The benefit is that Red Bull never really have to manage an inter-team struggle. Verstappen is clearly the number 1 driver. That means they can make decisions that favor him without having to worry about backlash from Checo. It also keeps Max's dad Jos Verstappen happy. Jos can be as outspoken and spiky as Helmut Marko is, and isn't afraid to go to the media to express himself, as he's shown during the horny Horner scandal this year. While the whims of Jos Verstappen aren't going to affect the team's decision, it's a nice bonus to keeping Perez around. The drawbacks of the performance gap are going to be felt though. With Ferrari and McLaren closing in and Red Bull finding problems with their car's balance this year, Checo looks slower than Norris, Piastri, Leclerc and Sainz, a massive issue for Red Bull's Constructors' title hopes. The reaction to the announcement from Red Bull by fans on social media reflected the glaring obvious issues with the decision. Their posts across a number of platforms were greeted with a lot of disapproving reactions, which the Red Bull admins quickly deleted though, not before it was spotted. While some fans are disappointed, their emotions are nothing compared to the VCARB drivers and members of the Red Bull Junior program who are being shown that the system they've given their lives to is actually a lie. Daniel Ricciardo's return to Formula 1 has been a huge disappointment for both his fans and impartial onlookers. The Australian driver's decline at McLaren was shocking, but many thought it was just a blip. The calls for Perez's removal last season were often followed up with a recommendation that Ricciardo replace him. Since returning to VCARB, the team he started his F1 career at, Daniel has shown how bad a decision that would have been for Red Bull. 1-point finish in 15 Grand Prix compared to his teammates' 9 in the same time is a very poor showing. When Daniel returned to the Red Bull Junior team, all the talk was about how he was there to earn a place back at Red Bull, but sadly that's not happened. Bringing him back wasn't that much of a gamble. He's a PR dream and his presence was likely a large part of the Visa and Cash App deal. However, his own poor performances had made his chances of the dream return to Red Bull slim, and with Perez now signed on for 2 more seasons, this will probably be Ricciardo's last ever year in Formula 1. The driver most hard done by the decision to retain Perez, though, is Yuki Tsunoda. While the young, Honda-backed driver was a mixed bag during his first 3 F1 seasons, and that is putting it politely, his 4th year in an F1 car is looking like a coming of age. Though Ricciardo hasn't provided much competition, Yuki can only beat what he's put up against, and in Grand Prix they've both finished this year, Tsunoda was first across the line 6 times out of 8, securing 19 points to Ricciardo's 5, 4 of which came off the back of an anomaly of a sprint qualifying. In terms of Grand Prix qualifying, Yuki has been faster 7 times out of 8. Yuki has also made Q3 6 times this season, the same amount of times Sergio Perez has managed it. As a product of the Red Bull Junior system, Yuki should really have his chance at the main team now, especially considering his performances so far this season. But by denying him that opportunity, Red Bull have shown that results and loyalty to the brand aren't enough to get you that Red Bull seat, which is dangled in front of all their junior drivers. For Yuki to move forwards in his career, he now needs to look elsewhere. The seat at Mercedes seems unlikely, but the empty Aston Martin spot is interesting. They still haven't confirmed that Lance Stroll will be driving at the team next year, and with Honda supplying their engines for 2026, a move for Yuki there is a possibility. That would require Lawrence Stroll to fire his own son though, which seems unlikely. But with Yuki currently outscoring Lance Stroll in the Drivers' Championship, it would appear to be a good move for both parties. The options elsewhere are pretty uninspired though, as Yuki leads the bottom 5 teams in points scored by a single driver. He's actually earned VCARB a comfortable 6th in the Constructors' Championship, all on his own. Another driver who's been screwed by Red Bull's decision is Carlos Sainz. Since Azerbaijan 2022, he's won as many races as Sergio Perez, more than Charles Leclerc and the man who's replacing him, Lewis Hamilton, combined. He would definitely have taken a seat at Red Bull if it had been offered to him, and perhaps it should have been as well. He has proved alongside Charles Leclerc, a driver who's been constantly favoured over him by Ferrari, that he can score great points, be consistent, and not cause trouble with his teammate. He offers everything that Sergio Perez does and more. Checo's contract extension closes yet another door for the Spaniard though, and unless he can convince Mercedes to pick him, a 3-time race winner, over unproven F2 rookie Andrea Kimi Antonelli, he'll be sent to a backmarker for next season, wondering what he did to deserve such a fate. With George Russell's contract up at the end of 2025, Mercedes should take Sainz on, give Antonelli another year to cook in F2, and then drop George for the promising youngster. There are few who would argue that George could outdrive Carlos, and it would give Antonelli another year to develop before being sent into the wolf-filled wilds of F1 to see if he can fend for himself. Finally, a thought for Liam Lawson and the Red Bull juniors waiting behind him. Checo's appointment at Red Bull back in 2021 was questioned initially as it didn't fit the Red Bull model. Their driver academy has produced some of the best drivers in the sport's history, including 6 of the current grid, and they've always tried to promote drivers from their program. By questionably extending Checo's contract, what kind of message does it send to those drivers who've devoted their youths to the Red Bull system? Daniel Ricciardo's return to VCARB stopped Liam Lawson being promoted for this year, and Sergio Perez's contract extension has stopped Yuki Tsunoda's chance of promotion. That system used to hold so much promise for exceptional junior drivers, but now it's just another dead-end system with nothing but a reserve driver spot and broken dreams at the end. What do you think of Checo's contract extension? Is it a mistake? Should Red Bull have signed someone else? Or is he the right man for the job? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and if you want to keep up with everything happening in F1, then make sure to like and subscribe. Until next time, drive safe and bye for now.